What's going on, guys? This is Skyhound, also known as Geek Archivist Xavier Pierce. So, I know a few weeks ago I did my general thoughts on the concert for Honkai Star Rail, which of course had its first anniversary. Most of us have already gone through, 2.2. We know that the second half of the 2.2 is about to be underway. And of course, there's 2.3, and there are those of us who know what is going on for 2.3 in terms of polls. But I felt like sharing a little bit of my reaction and give some general thoughts in terms of my favorites of the concert itself. And before I forget, I decided, well, if I'm going to be watching it, I might as well, have a little friend, watch it with me. Hello. Yeah, so I bought this little fella on Etsy, and I don't quite remember who it was, but this little fella, I know they've done a few others. They have one for Dan Heng. They've done some for some of the ones in Penacony. If you guys want to check those out, you can just type in, Honkai Star Rail Cat Cake. I know some of you guys found that event okay. I actually enjoyed it, though, when I got the chance to finally get through with it. Definitely fun. And I know for those of you guys who like adventuring, FYI, there are some cat cakes for that character. They also did one for Sparkle as well, besides Firefly, who I just showed. But anyway, I'll be giving my general thoughts and my quick reactions in terms of my favorites in terms of the concert itself. But quick note, I will say this: I apologize in advance. When I was giving my general thoughts on this originally, I'll put the link in the description below. I kind of switched around, like which one belonged to which. I will also put in the link below the voice actor's reaction to the concert. And someone who was actually taking notes on that, there was a lot of people making notes in terms of the timestamps, myself included. But I will point out, which ones I enjoyed the most, give my general reaction, and then maybe dive into, what I liked about it. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you in a bit. What is going on, guys? This is Skyhound, also known as Geek Archivist Xavier Pierce. Like I said, I am going to be just giving a general reaction to some of my favorite moments from this concert. Now, if you notice here, it appears like they re-uploaded the full concert itself without the loading part of how it was a few weeks ago. So this is more now for the general public to watch whenever they want. Now, again, I will put in the description below the link to the English voice actors of Honkai Star Rail, at least some of them that watched it. Now, with regards to timestamps on my general review, I will also put a link in the description below about that. I gave a rough estimation in terms of where some parts started. I got some parts right and other parts wrong, namely when it came to what most would consider the theme for Himiko. And then you have the opening for, the game itself. That part I actually got mixed up when I was doing my general thoughts on this concert originally. So, advanced apologies for that. On top of that, before I go on any further, I do also want to point out that some people did point out the song that was played with regards to Belobog. That was actually more for Serval, from my understanding. And also, I actually agree with the voice actors, the English voice actors for Honkai Star Rail, when they saw the outfit of the singer who did the opening for, the game itself. From my observation, when I went to rewatch it again and just pay attention to like some other people reacting to it, that, some of them said it looks like Serval, at least according to the voice actors. I think they're correct on that, because when I was looking at some other videos, it appeared to be the case. So, kudos to them. But with that being said, I know this is roughly 2 hours in length. And of course, you also have the intermissions and then the fan songs on top of that. If it hasn't been clear, with regards to Chevy, who does the singing voice for Robin, if you pay attention to what is said on the voice actors who are watching this concert, Chevy actually did some songs and submitted it to Hoyoverse, because clearly she's also a fan of some of the games. They got wind of it, and then she was asked by them, do you want to, sing for, a particular character that we're working on? At least that's how the story goes from what I recall from one of the voice actors. I know someone in the comments, for someone who was watching a reaction video, put in the comments, they paraphrased that response that I just gave, the explanation. They paraphrased that explanation. I don't remember who it was. I am pretty certain I liked that one, but there's quite a number of others who also watched it besides me. I know there's also VTubers who also watched it. But let me not try to bog you guys down with details. Let's get straight to the meat and potatoes. So, with that being said, I'm just going to be going over some of my favorites. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, just certain ones, give a quick reaction, and then give my general thoughts, and we'll go from there. So with that being said, here we go. So the first one I'm going to be going over with you guys is the actual opening of the game itself. Now, I do recall when I was watching this, it does it both in Chinese and a bit of English. But what didn't surprise me when I was watching the voice actor reaction is 2 of them, from my understanding, are actually Chinese. So the fact that, I heard a bit of, Chinese dialect, I don't know which one it is, because, China has quite a bit of different dialects. Heck, there's quite a bit of other countries, they have, more than one dialect. Others don't. Depends on, who you ask. But they knew where this was being held, number one. Number two, since some of them, actually, have voiced other characters, it wouldn't surprise me that, there might also be arguably fans of other voice actors, even in their own country. So that doesn't surprise me. Again, depends on who you ask. But this first one I'm going to be going over right now, obviously, and react to, is the opening to the game itself. So bear with me for a few minutes. Here we go. Okay, yeah, we can see that the lights actually resemble that of the Trailblazer, a bat that's used during the disgusting parts of the character. And there's the rain coming. The way how they try to integrate the event and cutscenes, or at least the I like how they did it. Definitely better than I think they were right, like I said. It does look like he was going for the server, which I think he pulled off pretty well. And this one.
But then in the starlight, be well aware of roads we've gone by. Erase the days aside, be the future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind. I won't say it twice, won't stop saying within the line. Two, we'd always align. We, even if we don't get enough burden, we fight for us.
Okay, so one thing I know for certain is that as I'm trying to record this and give my general thoughts, there is going to be some interruptions because, well, my account is just basic. I won't be able to skip the ads. So bear with me for a bit, as if I come across those and then I record it, I'll have to edit it again, then, transfer this onto my PC, edit before I upload. But anyway, yeah, I know I shouldn't have tried to speak over after I was listening to this, but on the parts where Again, the look that the singer was looking for, they said, I remember one of the voice actors mentioned it reminded them of Serval, which I think they got correct in that assessment. This one, I mean, if I had to choose like the ones in terms of singing that I actually enjoyed the most, the fan ones are good, don't get me wrong. But from my observation, I would say the opening as well as the theme song for Dan Hung in his Lumine form, that one was also good. Wildfire is definitely a banger. But in terms of, I would say, the ones that had like the most emotional impact, I gotta give it to Chevy, who does, again, the voice of Robin, the singing part of it at least. And looking back when I was listening to the music, though, after the album got released, again, I'm doing this, weeks after, they made this to the general public. I like all three of the songs, even though on this one they only do 2 out of 3, which is perfectly fine. And what doesn't surprise me is that, the fans did already piece together the ultimate that is used for Robin's character. That was a song that was playing. That one was good. But I did notice that they didn't play the third one for specific reasons. Totally fine with that. I do like all 3 songs. Now, there is a fourth. And as for what it is and how to get it, unfortunately, you're going to have to poke around online in terms of where it is. But overall, this first one that I just went over, I did enjoy it. It's a bit memorable, but I would probably rank this as maybe 4th on my list. Maybe 4th, maybe 5th. But it falls within there. As for the next one, I will agree with most fans, as well as the voice actors, that the next one I'm about to go over, Take the Journey, that one was also good. But before I get to that, I'll just give my general reaction to a very, very seamless transition from one of the albums with regards to the background music. I found out later that it's called Freestyle. What I like about this one is that the DJ actually adds in bits of, Silverwolf's theme, and she's dressed up clearly like Silverwolf to an extent. But you hear bits of the theme in the freestyle, whereas in the original recording, you don't. But the way how she combines the 2 tracks, freestyle, and then, if memory serves me right, Silverwolf's theme is referred to as Got a Date. That's the title of the track itself, which I will be, reacting to and then going over in a bit. So like I said, I know there's going to be ads in between as I'm doing some of these, so bear with me for a bit. But here we go with the next bit that I actually enjoyed. So yeah, this is the freestyle bit. And again, when I heard this the first time, I definitely heard Silverwolf's theme sprinkled in because I know it's going to transition into there. There we go. You see, if you listen carefully enough, that drop, the way how those drops are timed, you can tell the DJ was having a blast and trying to get the crowd going. I think she did that just fine. So good. And now the actual track itself. Here's the symbols. And the combo counter. I used to probably watch that trailer so many times, probably 30 or 40 times, because I love the track so much. Plus the characters. It was that good. Yeah, sorry you guys had to see that quick notification there, but yeah, I didn't realize that as I'm trying to record this, that the battery's starting to slowly drain. It might get into another ad, it might not, but as you can see, I stopped it at the point where when I got the notification, it was going to get to Topaz's theme. What kind of gives it away is not just the color scheme on this one, but also if people were paying attention, you also see the stack of coins as well as the stock, and then Numby shows up, so it's pretty clear besides the musical notes. But anyway, the way how this transitions from, you go from the space station to Belobog, and then you get to Zhanzhou Luofu, and then finally Penacony. What I really enjoyed about this is how they go through a good chunk of the respective albums for Honkai Star Rail. And, for those of you who actually decided to go for the full album, each of us have our own favorites. I may not know all of them, right off the top of the hat compared to some of you guys, but I know we each have our favorites. The only one that I did buy was the one regarding Penacony. At least most Trailblazers would say this is probably just the first half of it because, it's still going. I don't know if they're going to continue the second half of it, but I do know this, that, the story is still going on, and we only got a glimpse of it when they did this concert, and I knew that they were going to be doing 2.2 and 2.3. And there are those who play the game that got a chance to try it out. Certain characters, they got to try out some of them. My best guess, because of Hoyoverse, they made an account. They make certain content, and some of these people are allowed to, try them out. I'm not jealous or anything. I'm just stating that, from the videos I've seen on YouTube, for some gamers that got a chance to try it, kudos to them, for making, certain content that catches the eye of this company, and, the dedication and the fact that they like, this game, and to put it out for others to discover and enjoy. I'm just giving credit where credit is due for some of these people. I may not know the names, but I'm just saying, I respect, the hustle. I respect the fact that you guys are doing this, because you like the game. Now, are there detractors who unfortunately derail the enjoyment of this? Yes. It depends on who you ask, but I am simply stating they do exist. That is all. Now, with that being said, there might be, again, like I said, another ad, so bear with me for a moment. Okay, so again, I'm just going through it the best I can, and I managed to get to the part where I was going to be reviewing next the obviously repeatable, most Trailblazers would say, song, Take the Journey, which obviously is right after, the Trailblazer gets on the Astro Express after that boss fight on the space station. Again, I still remembered how this started. It goes from when he started the space station with, they did Kafka's theme first because, that's the first character you encounter when you play the game, as the Void Rangers are infiltrating the space station, and they're trying to some people are trying to evacuate, staff and personnel as best they can as they're attacking. And we hear the classical music that, she's playing on her violin. So they play that aspect of it before they go into the actual theme itself, before showing the actual footage of the trailer when she was announced. So the way how this goes from, the exact order when we were playing the game, I like that transition. I know there's some people who haven't gotten as far as they did. Others have, like myself. And, each of us have our favorite moments from the game. But with that being said, now let's get to one of the most memorable tracks from the game, Take the Journey. Clearly some of them were singing along with it for a bit, because it's simple, but so perfect.
I'll be waiting till we make it.
Flashbacks coming in my mind right now. So simple and yet so memorable. And it's only like what, less than a minute? Just the way how they pull it off, so good.
Today to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. Take the journey. We will see. Come with me, take a journey.
I just got slight chills from that. The timing, oh my god. Now, why they didn't make this longer is beyond me, but arguably, I agree with the fans and the voice actors who should have made this part a little longer. With the few lyrics, and yet it's so effective. So again, I'm just doing this in segments, but I will be putting it together and then uploading it. As I suspected, right after I finished, another ad came up, so again, bear with me. Bear with me for a little bit. I'm doing what I can. Am I going to go over all of the vocal parts? Not all of them, just again, bits and pieces, the ones that I enjoyed the most. But again, while on my general thoughts, I do point out, where they are in a bit. I will say that I did screw up on some details. Now, again, when I was doing this without looking at, the concert itself, I do admit, even though I had my notes, I was going to screw up. And lo and behold, I obviously did. So, again, some parts, you had Himeko's theme, and then you also had the spacewalk, which then transitioned into Freestyle, and then Silverwolf's theme, and then you get Topaz's theme right after that. That part, I would say, was seamless. From there, we then get to the battle music on the space station, including the boss battle, before we get to this song itself. Again, I'm just going straight from memory. Overall, again, this was a really great concert. I'm just going over and reacting to the ones that, at least impacted me as I was playing the game. So, again, this is just the first part of it. I'll get to the second part in a few minutes, so bear with me. Okay, so on this part right here, obviously you can sort of tell I'm just kind of going around. This part, you can see here with the performers using what is almost similar to yo-yos. This is in reference to the Heliobi. That was when Ho-Ho and a couple of others were actually announced to be released in the game when they were doing the Luofu portion of the game. Now, I will admit that I do like the music that was used for the city, even though we also got a couple of little Chinese dragons that not only represent the Diting that was used in the game, but also color-wise, the schemes. One of them was for, I think it was Xusheng, the one that uses a sword. And then we also have little Gui, Guianafen, I apologize if I mess up the name, who is a fire type, whereas Xusheng, she was physical in terms of the type. But anyway, yeah, I'm just going to start from the part where, we get the theme of when Ho-Ho comes in, as well as Shippo, Mr. Tail, obviously. I like how when I was watching this the first time, they had a little puppet for the tail, and I was like, nice touch. But anyway, here we go. There's the Heliobye. I like the way how they use those yo-yos to represent the Heliobye, the various types. And here comes Mr. Tail! There he is! There he is! People. Obviously you can see here you can see the various not just the expressions but also the exorcism sheets that Fofo uses. So yeah, there's that bit right there. You can see the way how the puppet is. They did a really good job on that design. Again, I apologize if the ads do come up, but again, mine's just basic. I'm just giving my general thoughts, the parts I do enjoyed the most. So obviously you can tell after this, then they get to the eventual boss fight and then the introduction to the general. After that, I'm just going by memory in terms of how the sequence of events played out. But I'm not going to be covering the whole thing. I'm just going over the ones that, I really enjoyed the most. But with that being said, let's get straight to the part with Penacony. Okay, so before I get to the part where Robin does come in, or at least Chevy, who voices the, Robin's character in terms of singing, comes in, I do want to point out that historically, when I'm looking at the style of how they did Penacony and all of that, I will also put in the link down below, the behind the scenes of how the music was done. They do mention about how some of the music was based from an amusement park, and it kind of they kind of addressed the question, can you imagine an amusement park without music? Arguably, no, because it kind of gives it that character, if you will, or at least, something that defines it, if you will. One of the things I noticed with regards to Penacony in terms of the design when I started to play the game is it was roughly based on the Roaring Twenties. Now, for those who don't realize this, I will reference a particular makeup competition show known as Face Off that used to air on Sci-Fi. Now, some of you are probably wondering, why am I referencing a makeup competition show? Because in one of the seasons of this show, they actually had to choose different eras back in the day. Now, when they mention about the Roaring Twenties, what they are talking about was long before technology was advanced as it is now. We're talking about the 1920s. The 1920s to the 1930s. Now, the Roaring Twenties, in terms of style and design, what you see in Penacony, number one, this is in reference to America. Number two, the style that you see is around that time. Now, if you're familiar with an old classic story known as The Great Gatsby, if you watched the film adaptation that had Leonardo DiCaprio in that film, what you see regarding the 1920s, the style, the artwork, the architecture, everything you see from there, that was straight from the 1920s during that time frame. What they show with regards to Penacony does reflect that time. So, yeah, with that little history lesson out of the way, let's get into it. As you can see also with the with the title for Hong Kong Star Rail, it's roughly within that old, time frame. I mean, look at the performance right here. You see Clocky is kind of like, a mime. And, some of these stage actors, the clothing that they're wearing. You notice the clothing, you notice the background, the style of it. It is all from the 1920s during that time when they were working on this. Even the fedora hat, for example. So you can see how it represents a particular time when, America was, going from one century to the next, 1900s, into the early, 20s. Slowly. I will admit though that the costume design and the way how they try to emulate and give a general idea of how times were, I think the Chinese, they did a good job on this when they were doing their research and trying to design the next stop. There's the trash cans for a bit. Now, while this does actually, reference, when you get into Penacony, it's just one part of it. And here we go. One could say this is where you're really immersed in Penacony when you finally, wake up and realize you managed to make it. There's obviously the Soul Glad that we see referenced. Now, I will mention, around this point, I did make a prediction, and I could tell who was who to an extent. But around this point is where you see Chevy come in. There. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Chevy, the singing voice for Robin. So when I saw that stage come down, I already knew, off the top of my hat, I knew what was coming. And mentally, I would say that I was somewhat prepared. And here we go with the waterworks. Okay, so before I go on any further, I do want to point out that when I was giving my analysis of this song, after I'd watched it the first time, on my general thoughts and reaction to this, most of us had gotten the lyrics right to this one, save for a few small bits. I eventually also myself did a deep dive on this song, and I give my general thoughts as to how this does relate not just to Robin, but also to Firefly as well. So in a sense, while Robin does sing this song, and most of us would arguably say that this is in reference to Firefly, I can make an argument, so can other Trailblazers, depending on who you ask. We know that this song does represent both characters. Again, I give my analysis on the lyrics, the meaning. I go on a bit of an analytical binge, if you will. But anyway, after this one, we do get the song that is representing her ultimate skill in the game. As much as I want to play it, I know it's actually shorter when the album itself came out. But then after that, we then get the theme for Brother Hanu. From there, we then get the actual boss music for Sam. FYI, since I am reviewing this though weeks after, the concert was done, and then, we get the continuation of Penacony. They did mention in the game the actual acronym of what Sam means. Firefly, as it turns out, is actually a designation. So the information that you see in the wiki for the game regarding Firefly, her background, what Sam means, arguably I would say it is all there, because some of us were taking notes. There are those who likely have been putting in that information as the game, progressed. But we do get that theme, and then we get, if memory serves me right, the title track is called Monodrama, which is the theme for Sparkle. I will admit, as much as I want to go over it, I will just do the vocals for the meantime, because again, this is pretty long. They did try to get the Chinese singer who does the Chinese version of White Knight, but unfortunately, from what I heard, he couldn't make it. But we got the one in the English version. He tried his best, I will say that much. And overall, I will say that this was definitely really well done. Notice a while ago I did mention about the light sticks. It went green and blue. That, in addition to the lights on the stage, it was like a aquamarine type of color, which of course does represent Firefly in terms of what she is wearing, her color scheme and all of that. So that was a nice indication and touch there, because, the audience, knew who was who, and they adjusted the light color on their representing bats, if you will, for each character, at least certain characters. But overall, yeah, now I will just get straight towards the background music and then get to the last bit and then close off from there. That clue right there, obviously I could tell when I first saw it, I knew it was Sam. And even the audience could pretty much tell who it was, because they already knew who was who. And here we go. There's the cosplay. So good. The way how it blends, into the character, how it, the suit actor is utilizing the movements to, how it represents how the character acts. Despite it being short, the way how the lighting and the projection does help illustrate this character, how imposing he is. And then the music on top of that, so well done. And the timing, I will have to admit, how it times with the movement of the suit actor in there. So good. The meteor attack with the lighting on there. So good. And you can see they're actually switching again. The audience. And there's the fish. And here we go. Sparkle. So good. Okay, I didn't see that bit. Okay, that part wasn't added originally. So there's some context there. Okay, so I didn't see that coming. So, again, since this was released to the public, I had a feeling that as I was watching some of the reactions from other YouTubers, there was something missing. And again, since I'm recording my general thoughts on this and reacting, that little bit where you hear Sparkle's voice but you don't see the character, my guess, I'm just guessing here, ladies and gentlemen, they forgot to add that in when this was, being done. I don't know, maybe it was a technical issue, maybe not. Who knows? But the fact that I just spotted this now, watching it again, as I'm giving my general thoughts and reactions to this, I will say this, the theme's good, very haunting, and actually, the funny thing is, you could say that because she's a masked fool, that you can actually make a parallel to maybe Harley Quinn in terms of the mentality. Has this character really cracked? Is, who is who? As obviously one of the animated shorts, mentions, who is the real Sparkle? Is it everyone? Is it, no one? It throws that question to cause the audience to think in terms of, what does it mean to have an identity? All of us wear masks, for certain reasons. And I'll put it this way, there is the physical type that people see, but myself and others, depending on who you ask, there are those of us who know that there is such a thing as an invisible mask, what you don't see. It is those types of people, like myself, that are not only able to spot this stuff, point it out, explain why, but also break it down enough for people to understand. Now, I may not be in psychology, but I understand the general basics, the fundamentals. Now, in terms of diagnosis, I will leave some of that burden to the actual professionals. Are there some that are good at their job? Yes. Are there some that also undermine said job? Yes. It depends on who you ask. Now, are there those who really do not realize that such people are good at their job? Yes. Are they jealous that, of certain other things that some of these people are able to do and are just projecting their insecurities and the like, because they really don't know these people? Absolutely. Now, with that being said, I know after this, it then gets to the climax of the concert itself, which is White Knight. I will play it. And then after that, it goes straight into the login screen, of course, for when we have to get back on the Astro Express. As much as I want to play that part, I will just leave it at that once I get to White Knight and then just give my general thoughts. So bear with me.
哦
At least they know the beat. I'll give them that. But I recall someone did mention in comments, why he was there and the other one was not.
You take me higher, take me away. Oh, be my savior, take me away. Sing it with me, everyone. I don't wanna. Oh, bring me to the other side. There's no one else left for me to lose. Going to the other side, other side. Come on. I don't wanna be alone tonight. Oh, bring me to the other side. There's no one else left for me to lose. Going to the other side, other side. One more time. I don't wanna be alone tonight. Oh, bring me to the other side. There's no one else left for me to lose. Going to the other side.
So again, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. He did what he could. So after this point, then, you get back on the Astral Express. They do show the various characters that you come across, throughout. And, people knew at that point that Penacony was going to be continuing on to the current climax, which obviously was in 2.2. Those of you who actually got through it, with your best team, kudos. For those who were able to, pull for Robin, including myself, congrats on that. Those of you who want Boot Hill, I know the next update's coming up. We get to hear his part of the story. As you know, it left off after we beat, Sunday. Adventuring is confronted by Boot Hill. He's asking him, a particular individual. And part of me is either going, this guy, this scientist, whoever he is, he's either responsible for what happened to Boot Hill or, something's wrong with Boot Hill, or this guy is looking for this person for a reason, a specific reason. So it's either revenge, or he needs answers for something, or he's looking for something. I'm really curious to see how that story is going to unfold. And again, as I stated earlier, before I started the Penacony part of this was back around the 1920s, at least some of the style though. Now, they did add some modern day parts to it, obviously, if you look around. So it's a combination of past history, a little bit of modern, and a little bit of cowboy in the case of Boot Hill, even though he's a Galaxy Ranger, but you get the point. You see the references to both old and modern to an extent in terms of designs. I think they did a good job on this. And again, if you want to take a look at the behind the scenes in terms of how the music was done, you can check, in the link down below, behind the scenes, how they did it and, how the music came about. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my general thoughts and reactions to this concert. This is kind of like clarifying a bit of what I was analyzing originally, after watching this concert. But since I watched it again, Now you guys know there's a small part in the monodrama song that wasn't shown originally when they uploaded this. But now you guys get to see that part that was missing. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been Skyhound, also known as Geek Archivist Xavier Pierce. Stay safe, stay sane, and as my good friend Orange Hat would say, stay humble. Peace.